Good afternoon, everyone, especially to my dear students. Welcome to our first lesson in Statistics and Probability for Quarter 3, Module 1. I am Teacher Beth. Our learning objectives are at the end of the session, the students will be able to first illustrate a random variable, second, distinguish between a discrete and continuous random variable. Let us learn about the concept of random variables. Let's have an activity first. You are going to guess. If the values in the given statements are obtained through counting, write the letter D. Otherwise, write the letter C if the values are obtained through measurement. So kapag mabilang yung mga values from the given statements, you write the letter D. At kapag ito naman ay kailangan i-measure yung mga values from the given statements, so you are going to write letter C. Okay, D at saka C lang po yung isusulat nyo na letter. You are given 10 seconds to answer each statement. Let us start with statement number 1. Number of deaths due to COVID-19. Again, for number 1, number of deaths due to COVID-19. Number 2, weight of 100 pesos worth of rice. Number 2 statement, weight of 100 pesos worth of rice. Number 3, total number of fully vaccinated students in grade 11. Again, for number 3, total number of fully vaccinated students in grade 11. Number 4, time needed to answer all the activities in Statistics Module 1. Again, for number 4 statement, time needed to answer all the activities in Statistics Module 1. Number 5, number of students in senior high school who will participate in limited face-to-face classes. Again, for number 5 statement, number of students in senior high school who will participate in limited face-to-face classes. Now let us check your answers. Okay, for number 1, the answer is letter D. Again, number 1, letter D. Number 2, letter C. Number 2, letter C. For number 3, the answer is letter D. Again, number 3, letter D. Number 4, the answer is letter C. Again, number 4, letter C. And number 5, letter D. Again, number 5 answer, letter D. Congratulations to those who got a perfect score. For those who didn't make it, don't worry, we'll discuss more today. Now let us begin with the idea of a random variable. A random variable may be confusing to you at first, especially if you associate it with the common variables that we use in algebra. Now let us differentiate. First, we have a variable. The variable is written in small letter. So for example, you have small letter A, small letter B, C, X, Y, and Z, or any letter in the alphabet. So if we are talking about the variable, so it is written in small letter. A variable also give value to equations like x plus 2 equals 9. So in this case, x can only take on a distinct value, and that is 7. So if x is 7, if the x will take the value of 7, the equation is correct. And what about the random variable? A random variable written in capital letter. Example, we have A, capital letter A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, and any letter in the alphabet. So if we are talking about the random variable, so that is in capital letter, while the variable is in small letter. So we use variable in algebra, and the random variable, we use this in probability and statistics. Okay, that is written in capital letter. So the random variable x, or the capital letter X, represents a numerical value associated with each outcome of a probability experiment. Again, the random variable x, it represents a numerical value associated with each outcome of a probability experiment. Notice how the random process of rolling a die gives you a random outcome each time you perform the experiment. So, for example, if we roll a die, so rolling once at first roll, it may give you 5. And rolling again may give you 6, and again 4. So, additionally, we also considered x as a numerical type of data because the outcomes of the said random variable are numerical in nature. So the capital letter here, capital letter X, is also considered as a numerical type of data because the outcomes of the said random variable are numerical in nature. A random variable may also be used to quantify unquantifiable processes. For example, in a random variable, we have y, the capital letter Y, a random variable y is equivalent to the sex of college student applicants. So the possible outcomes here is we have male or female. The characteristic is categorical or non-numerical. So it would be very difficult to perform mathematical operations on such kinds of data. So we have to find a way to convert this data into numbers. So we could assign the value 0 for male and 1 for female. So since our possible outcomes are non-numerical, so we can assign, or we could assign the value 0 for male or 1 for female. But take note, the values 0 and 1 are just models or examples. So you may use other values like 10, 500, and even 2020. So still the values 0 and 1 are most commonly used in statistics. So there are two varieties of random variables that are numerical in nature. So we will talk about this one. So the first one is discrete random variable. So that is the letter D, discrete random variable. And the other one, the capital letter C, start with letter C, continuous random variable. So the two varieties of random variables are discrete random variable and continuous random variable. So these two random variables are numerical in nature. So what is discrete random variable and continuous random variable? Okay, so when we talk about the discrete random variable, its values are obtained through counting. Okay, like for example, it is 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So those are discrete random variable. You can count it. So the values are obtained through counting. And or the continuous random variable, its values are obtained through measurement. Okay, so we are using instruments, measuring tools to get its values. So we have here an examples for the discrete random variable. Example, number of bread baked each day. So you can count how many number of breads bake each day. And another example of discrete random variable, the number of households in your community. So iilan yung mga bahay. Okay, again, for another example is the number of households in your community. So we can count it. How many households in our community? For the continuous random variable, the examples first is the air temperature in a city yesterday. So we are talking about the temperature, air temperature. So it needs a measuring tool to get the air temperature. Next is the weights of a newborn infants. So we are talking about weights. So we need a weighing scale to know the weight of a newborn infant or infants. In a discrete random variable, the sample space is finite, can be counted because each sample has a space between them. While in continuous random variable, there are infinite elements in the sample space wherein each sample are so closely packed such that infinite number of elements can fit throughout the sample space. Okay, take note. A sample space is the set of all possible outcomes in a random experiment. So, yung possible outcomes in a random experiment, so that is what we call the sample space. So, a set of all possible outcomes in a random experiment. Now, let us try to answer this activity. If the values in the given statements are obtained through counting, write the word discrete. And if the values in the statements are obtained through measurement, write the word continuous. Again, in this activity, if the values in the given statements are obtained through counting, write the word discrete. And if the values in the statements are obtained through measurement, write the word continuous. Okay, let's start with the first statement. Number of appliances in a household. Is it a discrete or continuous? Okay, let us check the answer. Okay, this is a discrete. Discrete random variable because we can count the number of appliances in a household. Next statement. Cloth needed to make a dress. Again, cloth needed to make a dress. So is it a discrete random variable or continuous? Okay, let's check the answer. The answer is continuous because we need to measure the cloth that is needed to make a dress. Next statement. Total number of animals in a farm. Again, our statement. Total number of animals in a farm. Is it a discrete or continuous? Okay, the answer is discrete. So we can count the number of animals in a farm. Next is length of a piece of chalk. Again, our statement, length of a piece of chalk. The answer is continuous. Okay, so we need to measure how many centimeter or millimeter is the length of a piece of chalk. So that is continuous. Another statement, pH level of an acid. The pH level of an acid, is this a discrete or continuous? The answer is, of course, it's continuous. So you are going to measure the pH level. So we cannot count them as 1, 2, 3, 4, but we need a measuring device to know the pH level of an acid. Next is number of cards drawn. Number of cards drawn. So if you draw a card, so how many? How many cards you can draw? So this is a discrete or continuous? Our answer is discrete. So we can count the number of cards. Okay, so let's remember this. Random variables are denoted by capital letters. So when we talk about the random variables, so those are denoted or written in capital letters. If you see a lowercase x or y, that's the kind of variable you're used to in algebra. Okay, so it refers to the unknown quantity or quantities. So the small alphabet, the small letter from the alphabet, for example, X and Y, if you see those in a lowercase, so that is what we call the variable. So we use that in algebra. So that is an unknown quantity. So we need to get a value for that certain variable to make the equation correct. Random variables can be discrete or continuous. So we have two varieties of random variables, discrete or continuous. So discrete random variables have the following properties. So the discrete countable number of possible values. So we can count them as 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. The probability of each value is between 0 and 1. That is for the discrete random variable. So the probability of each value is between 0 and 1. In the continuous random variable, so the properties is infinite number of possible values. Okay? So probability of each distinct value is 0. For example, if you could measure your height with infinite precision, it's highly unlikely you would find another person alive with the exact same height. So that is for the continuous random variable properties. The probability of each distinct value is 0, while in the discrete, the probability is between 0 to 1. So between 0 to 1 for the discrete random variable. And while in the continuous random variable, the probability of each distinct value is 0. Now that you have learned the difference between variable and random variables, and also the varieties of random variables, I am confident now that you can answer our next activity. So what are you going to do? Classify the following random variables as discrete or continuous. If the random variables is discrete, you are going to write the word discrete. If it is a continuous, just write the word continuous. Now we have here 10 statements. So you are going to classify them. Okay, let me read first the number 1 statement. Length of a cell phone charger. Number 1, length of a cell phone charger. So is it a discrete or continuous? Number 2, number of gadgets in a household. Again, number 2, number of gadgets in a household. Number 3, count of words encoded per minute. Number 3, count of words encoded per minute. Number 4, amount of water consumed per day. Again, number 4, amount of water consumed per day. Number 5, sum of burgers sold in a day. Number 5, sum of burgers sold in a day. Number 6, amount of time needed to boil a liquid. Again, for number 6, amount of time needed to boil a liquid. Number 7, number of channels in a cable. Again, number 7, number of channels in a cable TV. Number 8, daily count of visitors in a mall. Number 8, daily count of visitors in a mall. And we have number 9, distance between two barangays. Again, for number 9, the distance between two barangays. Number 10, total area of a rice field. Number 10, total area of a rice field. Are you done? Now let us check your answers. Okay, for number 1, the answer is continuous. Again, number 1, continuous. Just check your answer if it is correct. Number 2, discrete. Again, for number 2, discrete. Number 3, discrete. Number 3, answer is discrete. Number 4, continuous. Again, number 4, continuous. Number 5, discrete. Again, for number 5, discrete. Number 6, continuous. Number 6, the answer is continuous. Number 7, discrete. Number 7, discrete. Number 8, discrete. Okay, number 8 is discrete. And number 9 and 10, our answer is continuous. Number 9 and 10, the answer is continuous. For your assignment, you can submit it using Facebook Messenger. So what are you going to do? Write real-life examples of discrete random variable and continuous random variable, each with at least 3 examples. Again, write real-life examples of discrete random variable and continuous random variable. So each with at least 3 examples. Thank you so much for listening and watching our lesson via radio and FB Live. Now you're ready to answer your learning activity sheet in quarter 3, week 1. Good luck, dear students. Stay safe and God bless.